Again, I want adaptability and versatility. Extra gas, extra water, more gear. It's just utilizing the space that I have to the best of my ability without going over the top and being completely ridiculous.
What are some self-defense techniques?
What would happen if there was a global internet outage?
What should I do if I hear shots ringing out?
Or what I should do if there's a major terrorist attack?
What should I have? What's the best?
What should I do?
What does that look like?
What would you recommend? Is there anything I could do?
All right, guys, first Dangerous Questions breakout session. I'm outside with two vehicles that are going to help us understand what we mean by having a bug-out vehicle. One guy asked, he said, hey, what are some things I need to think about to have my vehicle be bug-out ready? Well, I've got my own Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Of course, I had to upgrade my truck, and I wanted the best that I could possibly put into a vehicle, and also just putting aftermarket things on it that are going to make it better. And then Ironclad's bug-out vehicle that we've got back here, this thing is so sick. And honestly, I have 5 kids, and there's not many things out there that are going to be able to accommodate that many people, and this thing does. And I'm going to show you guys inside of this vehicle what it can do. They basically took a 550 and jacked it up and put some serious suspension on it. They lifted it, so it gives it more clearance. And when I talk about having a bug-out vehicle, I said, look, there's simple things in an environment that you should be able to get through. There's not too many obstacles in a city that should stop you. And I'm talking about barreling through a pole, and I'm talking about like little metal poles, stop signs, and curbs. Any type of curbing, that should not stop you. If you're getting stuck in that, then you don't have a bug-out vehicle. I think that's just a simple rule of thumb. One of the first things that I wanted to do on my vehicle, we can move, you can walk on top of me. So one of the things I wanted to do on my vehicle was put a winch on it, because I know how effective that can be. My first deployment to Afghanistan, I was using a winch to pull another vehicle out, then we get stuck. Then they pulled us out. So without that, we would not have gotten out of that mud that we were stuck in, being able to attach to a tree or attach to another vehicle. I think a winch is absolutely essential. And again, like everything else I always say, don't buy cheap. I've got a worn 12,000-pound winch in here. I was able to hide this thing with covert bumper from CBI. These guys make some really good stuff. And again, I researched the best material and the best stuff that I could get for my vehicle. And that's what I ended up doing. Tow hooks. This was one thing that Toyota Tundra failed on. They did not put tow hooks on the truck. I have no idea why. But ultimately, I put those on right away. So a winch and tow hooks. How can I grab onto something and get my vehicle unstuck? Speaking of being unstuck, again, one of the other things that I really think are important are having some type of traction board. Between the winch, having clearance, and having some type of tire that's going to get you through that scenario, this will get you out of that that you don't expect. Of course, we've got the Virginia Beach planes flying over, and always appreciate when those guys are flying when we're filled in. But these are max tracks. These are the military-grade max tracks. So these actually have metal studs on them. And between having beefy tires, you always have to balance that too. Like if I'm talking about a bug-out vehicle, does the tread I have on my vehicle, is it completely obnoxious and completely crushing my miles per gallon on the road versus, me having an off-road vehicle? So this is a tire that I chose to be in between that. I always want to side more on the off-road than I do on the road, but I want to make sure that these are going to get me through at least mud, rain, slick environments, get me over a curb and they're not going to slip. Having four-wheel drive capability is essential. Again, if you can't get over these simple obstacles, it's not really a bug-out vehicle. And of course, I've got a bunch of things on my truck that allow me to have some flexibility here. One of the things I like is to be able to have adaptability in the back. What are we carrying inside of our vehicle that's going to allow us to get through that scenario? I've got recovery gear. I've got multiple ropes. I've got multiple pulley systems and shackles that I could utilize. I'm not looking to add a ton of weight to my vehicle. This is really simple, probably about 20 to 30 pounds worth of stuff, then I can quickly access it. I want to be able to get that winch set up with a rope on it, ready to go and get out of a scenario. This is just extra stuff where, I can put a lot of gear in here. I can secure it if I want to. If I'm in and out of an environment, I could secure gear, lock this down with a hard top, and it gives me a lot of flexibility with this vehicle. I've got rooftop tents that I put on here, so if I'm truly looking to be sustainable, I can get out in the thick of it, throw a tent up, keep the kids safe, and I can even have an overhang here where I can sleep people below, sleep people in the cab, and sleep people up top. Now I've got a vehicle that I can truly accommodate, my whole family. And then I also have bars that go across here that are on now, but I can put a rack in between. So I've got 3 tiers of storage: bottom, mid, top. I've got the rack up top. So it just gives this vehicle, for what it is, ultimate flexibility. Are there some vehicles out there that are like way over the top? Yes. And it really just depends on your budget. This was the best for what I had for this specific scenario. Any type of full-size pickup truck that have 4-wheel drive, you can really do the same type of things. And this just utilizes more space. In this truck, I really like the swing cases. They can quickly come out and in, and they allow you the ability to just put extra gear in here. I've got seats, tie-down straps, extra stuff for winching, and it just gives you some versatility to be able to lock these in and get them out of your way. Again, I want adaptability and versatility. Extra gas, extra water, more gear. It's just utilizing the space that I have to the best of my ability without going over the top and being completely ridiculous. Okay, that's my vehicle. Again, how much can I put into this and increase in effectiveness and efficiency without going over the top? This is my daily driver. But your daily driver is, honestly, if it's going to be a bug-out vehicle, you got to be able to get to where you're going. If something happens and I can't get to my kids, that Honda Civic over there isn't going to really do me much good. So let's move to the Ironclad vehicle now. So this platform, honestly, is probably one of the best platforms I've seen for what it offers. You're going to be limited to the type of obstacles you can go over, but still, nonetheless, they have a jacked up package on here with an off-road capability. So you are going to be able to get through it. You just have to consider the weight. But if I was saying that, hey, you're going to be stuck out somewhere for a year, I would probably want to pick this bad boy over my truck, because I know that the kids can stay in here. And again, I've got 5 kids, so, I want to make sure that they can sleep somewhere and we can get in the vehicle effectively. So this bad boy basically has everything you could ask for. It even has electric stairs on it, which is pretty crazy. And I want to show you guys inside, because that's really where this thing shines as far as, yes, do you want to be comfortable out in town? Or there's sometimes that you want to give that up when you're on a scenario where you're leaving and you're going to be out in the sticks for a while. But this is one where I think the size of it really doesn't give up much of that, because you can accommodate people. It can show you the level of capability from being able to cram 7 people into my truck versus being able to put 7 people in here. It's a lot more comfortable. You got a lot more space. I mean, I can sleep 3 or 4 people up top. You have a pull-down bunk here, which I really, really like this because it's out of your way. This pulls down. 1 or 2 people can sleep in this. This pulls out as a bed, and this pulls out as a bed. And for me, thinking about somewhere where I'm going to be for 6 months to a year, this is really, really critical because we can live in and out of here. I mean, this is better set up than most people have in the world, right? We're able to increase our capability pretty quickly from a bug-out standpoint. And then just storage. I mean, if you look around here, you've got drawers and everything that you need to put extra water, extra food, extra ammo, batteries, anything that you think you would need, you can store it already pre-staged in here. Even if it's a minimal amount, you know that, look, if something really bad happens, we can pull this thing out, we can all load it up and just go. I think gas, water is always going to be the primary thing when you're talking about moving in a vehicle, but this thing does it all. Ironclad has their stuff squared away. You even have a fridge and a microwave, a sink, a stove. I mean, I am just impressed with how much you can fit in this space. You can see even me just sitting here, in this small space that I can even get through to the cab. This is another option I really like because it's not something you're towing behind. If I really had to buckle everybody in and get out of town, that's one thing that my wife and I talk about often is that if we have to fit all 7 kids, are we going to be able to do it safely? Because even in my truck, that wouldn't really be safe because we don't have buckles for everybody. Where you do have the option to buckle kids back here because it is on the chassis. It's on the main frame of the vehicle. So you can do it safely and be in control of the vehicle and not worry about what you're towing, coming disconnected or being more at risk to really being in an accident is the big thing. And I love the fact that you can get in and out of here. So even if this was a scenario where things were happening, I could crawl right back here and get whatever gun I needed, be able to crawl back through. You have a hatch up here as well. So if I wanted to pop up here, it's going to give me a little bit of a different view. Maybe if I'm looking at nods or thermals. Again, we can get ridiculous with this, but I like it because it gives me the versatility and flexibility with all of my kids being safe and even have room to fit 1 or 2 more people. So this thing is stacked. You know, that's the spectrum of what we're doing. We can either do something fully loaded, depending on our budget, or something as simple as having a full size ready to go. But the goal is to have something that we can bug out with. We have an increased capability to be able to get over curbs, get over obstacles, smash through things if we want. If you saw in my truck, I did put a bar on the front because it just gives me the ability to push stuff out of the way if I need to. I mean, if I did that with my truck, it's going to get banged up, but it can be done. And I want to do it without sacrificing, space and weight and capabilities if I can. So that's the breakout session in Dangerous Questions. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to do more stuff like this in the future. And if you have any more questions about bug out or even the capabilities that you saw here, send them in. We'll answer them. God bless you guys. We'll see you on the next episode.